As many of you know, I'm not the biggest fan of vampires, but this vampire right here, female vampire lord with a pistol, also riding a giant crab, what's not to love? Lore of Vampires, a fleet admiral here. Again, this is from Turin's single faction tournament where I played Sartosa. We've got the triple gun crab triangle, and she makes up the kind of apex of that triangle with the two gunnery whites, bringing her armor-piercing pistol to bear. She's also got great item loadout, Black Pirept, awesome Winds of Magic regeneration item, as well as damage resistance. Opal Amulet is very important in many situations. Of course, Lore of Vampires, ridiculously strong. She's also got the Hunger for self-healing in melee. And, like I said, a really nice ranged attack. 156 armor-piercing damage, very short reload time as well, so she can put out quite a bit of DPS. 400 weapon strength, 280 armor piercing, 120 base on the crab. 5550 in terms of stats, pretty decent. 120 armor, also not too bad. Less than 4,000 HP is a little bit squishy, so you got to be careful of that. But well, plenty of self-healing and the damage resistance to help offset that. Getting bombarded by the casket here. We've got a carronade, 5 zombie handguns, including the black spot, 5 halberds, zombie halberds, and we've also got the renowned Bloody Reaver depth guard here. Depth guard with pole arms. Yeah, and the gunnery whites, of course, facing off against Tomb Kings. We've got Khalida, Lich Priest, Lore of Nehekara. I believe there's a Tomb Prince in there as well. Yep, we've got King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, Casket of Souls, some Skeleton Horsemen Archers, a couple of Carrion, Ushabti Great Bows here, Skeleton Spears, Nehekara Warriors, and the Kepper Guard here as well. So some nice mixing of troops there. You can see I'm having to make my way forward. My cannon's definitely getting outclassed by the Casket and the Ushabti Great Bows combined. That being said, we did manage to catch some of these Skeleton Horsemen Archers with the Scurvy Doggos. A great benefit to me, helped shut down some of that mobility. Although, meanwhile, we're making our way forward. The two Gunnery Whites, they have really long range. 180 range on them, so I can get pretty close to these Ushabti Great Bows and start to pick away at them. You can see we've already torn away one model there. Carronade does get in a few spiteful last shots as well before getting taken down by Carrion, so it did generate at least a tiny bit of value there. And yeah, handguns coming forward. The pistol Admiral leading the way for Undead Horde. Going to be growing slightly larger with this summon here. She's also going to tie up the Kepper Guard, which Kepper Guard, pretty solid stats, 41 attack. Definitely be able to get some damage on her, but I decided to summon some pistol mobs because the Kepper Guard don't have a whole lot of armor, no missile block chance. Figured we could get some point-blank damage with those pistols, but they're going to get quickly collapsed by several skeleton spears. In the meantime, Carrion come down in the back line, try and tie down my zombie handguns, but the Depth Guard polearms, Bloody Reavers, they did manage to get caught by that Incantation of Desiccation. Going to come forward, of course. Scab Scrass going to be very key to my victory here as well, taking out these skeletons, so probably should have casted those a little bit further back, but that's okay. Still got some pretty solid damage on both of them. She is taking damage, though. You can see Opal Amulet been popped for that damage resistance. The Tomb Prince comes in. He's anti-large armor piercing, so I've got to be careful of him. I'm going to summon some more zombies here and go ahead and get, of course, Lore of Vampires. I've often said it is the strongest lore of magic in the game. I do think the Vampire Counts summons are slightly better, but they're slightly more cost-effective than the Zombie Pirate summons, but the Zombie Pirate summons still pretty solid. They'll actually trade okay in terms of combat stats, maybe not. 10 and 8, wow, just so bad, honestly. Deckhands are really terrible units, to be honest. Vampire Coast, actually, I would say, interesting in these two. Tomb Kings probably have bottom 5 infantry, if I had to say, but Vampire Coast is literally the worst right now in terms of infantry. I mean, zombies are appalling. Like, Sirens are their only really decent unit. Even Depth Guard, largely not great. These Depth Guard polearms have managed to tank quite a bit of damage. They're going to continue to do so. But, yeah, Admiral pulled back. She's now with the two other gun crabs trying to focus down this Tomb Prince. And this is the thing about this 3-character kind of triangle here, is they can all shoot. So Tomb Prince is faced with a dilemma. He can go engage any one of the 3 of them, the other can still turn to shoot him, and that's exactly what's happening here. I mean, this gunny's maybe a little bit distracted by some skeletons, but in theory, that's what should be happening here. At the very least, the Pistol Admiral can continue to focus. She's getting poked a little bit by these Horseman Archers, but really no big deal at all. Bloody Reavers come in, they're going to hold up these Nakar warriors. Not really meant to fight infantry, but their armor and regeneration from the hunger will allow them to just kind of grind through here. Decent stats as well. Incantation of Desiccation once again, though, and they will be taking a little bit more damage as a result from those Nakar warriors. Still not too much. Nakar warriors not the best AP in the world, but the cavalry charging in, skeleton horse archers, again, this is the reason why you bring the black spot, although they are not actually here protecting their handgun brethren. Khalida comes in, she's going to start to focus the one gunnery white, but again, the same problem that the Tomb Prince ran into with the gun crabs. As soon as they, you know, kind of realize their situation, they can come focus, and the three of them in melee as well. I mean, I've been talking about the missile focus, but you can also move in, again, in a triangle, in a melee engagement. If you get a full surround, that's 400, I guess 350 in terms of the gunnery white. You know, full weapon strength, armor-piercing single entities that are going to be coming after you, and in a surround like that, I mean, single entities, you know, in single entity combat, the one with more numbers usually wins anyway, but here, yeah, Khalida just getting absolutely bullied by the gunnery white. This other gunnery white's taking significant damage here. He's going to throw down his last scab scrath, try and bail out himself from the Scorpion Legion and the Kepper Guard there. With Khalida taking so much damage here, we've managed to tie up the casket with the Scurvy Dogs pretty effectively, even though it did use up quite a bit of its ammunition. Bloody Reaver Depth Guard also still alive. Again, Black Spot still alive. They're not too worried about those Skeleton Horse Archers. They're not too worried about the Ushabti. They can definitely defend themselves just fine with those bayonets. Incantation of Cursed Blades here on something to try and give them a little bit of extra anti-large. The Scorpion Legion, or just even more weapon strength, but it's not enough, and they get disintegrated there. You can see the Fleet Admiral just about at her healing cap has managed to tank out damage very well. You know, Invocation and the Hunger both coming in key there to do a little bit of healing. Gunnery White also here, relatively close to his healing cap. Lich Priest goes down, and that's game. So very well played. This is Davina, my opponent. Very well played. Yeah, fun stuff. The casket, man, ended up generating insane value. Definitely paid for itself. Ushabti Greybowls had a little bit of a tougher time. That is one advantage of the Gunnery Whites. They are long range, can kind of help counter those Ushabti Greybowls. Kepper Guard also did pretty decently. Still didn't quite pay for themselves. I actually really like the pick of the Nakar Warriors here, though, just because they clean zombies so efficiently. This is probably one matchup where you actually can take them pretty consistently and have them perform. No missile block chance is a little bit tough, a little bit risky. But at the same time, I mean, the regular skeletons also trade fairly decently here. Carronades getting countered by the casket and the Carrions there. Carrions versus Carronades, you know, makes sense. The Doggos actually did generate some really nice value going after the Horse Archers. Also kind of kept them into the late game. They were just charging around, you know, again, distracting the casket, like chasing very tattered Ushabti Greybowls while they were crumbling. There was a number of things that the Scrubby Dogs did here that were very nice, so love them. A Black Spot, again, didn't quite pay for itself, but still did pretty decently. The handguns in general, a couple of them pay for themselves, a couple of them don't. The Bloody Reavers, they managed to tank damage, don't pay for themselves in terms of damage output, definitely hanging until the late game, and not really too threatened by anything either. Gunnery Whites both, and 2,000, 1,500 damage value. Just great. The Fleet Admiral, not quite as much damage value on her as, again, she's more of just your Lord and Caster, but still pretty solid damage value overall. And, yeah, as a kind of ranged, generic ranged hero, generic ranged Lord, the fact that she's a Caster ranged Lord, I think might make her pretty unique, I want to say. I can't really think of any other Caster ranged Lord that has that combination of, you know, effects. Let's kind of give a think here. So would that actually make her a unique type? I do think so, because like Wood Elves have ranged lords, right, and caster lords, but they don't combine the two. Yeah, Tomb Kings. I mean, I guess technically, like, you could say Casket Kotep, right, is a ranged caster lord. So if you get real technical about it, but I'm talking in terms of just kind of base. I guess, again, technically, Ikit Claw does count as a ranged lord. I mean, I would say on any mount except for his Doomflayer, that is true. And he's also a caster, so maybe it's not 100% correct to call them truly unique, but they are mostly unique in that it is a very rare lord type to have the combination of spells and ranged attack, and not only that, but a very solid ranged attack too. Again, armor-piercing damage in terms of total DPS output, this is, you know, on par with other kind of only ranged lords, right? Like Glade Lord, significantly longer range, but even less DPS output, right? And I believe that is a similar situation to the Empire Huntsman. I think the Huntsman maybe has a little bit, yeah, more damage output overall, but no mount options, no Winds of Magic, like double the range, but still, yeah, I mean, like, again, the Dreadlord, I should say, Dark Lord. Dreadlord Sword and Crossbow, only 125 range and significantly lower DPS than the Fleet Admiral, and also can't cast spells, can't self-heal with the Hunger, and all of a sudden you see all these things combining. It's just a lot to pack into one character who's really not that expensive. I mean, in my typical kit, I would say, you know, Dance Macabre is optional if you feel like you need it. I like it in certain situations. But even like this, 2,000 is really not a lot to pay for a caster lord in the first place. That's, you know, kind of a hybrid caster fighter character. You add the ranged attack on top of that, and it's just, there's so much going on here. Like this special ability bar down here, even stripped down, is still full of stuff, which is what I like to see. She can fire while moving, can't shoot 360, but can fire while moving, so that's something also to take note of. Again, if you've got the Gunnery Whites, they can give her more ammo, so just in general, awesome, awesome Lord type, and I do think the meta, I mean, Noctilus is still decent, but I think the meta is definitely going to revolve around these three, all of their adventures going forward. So look for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.